All right. Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining me today and for participating in today's webinar. My name is Dan Jablons, and I'm the president of Retail Smart Guys, and it's a really crazy time right now, right? Everybody's getting ready to start up their stores, and we're seeing, some states are opening, some states are delaying. It's kind of happening, not happening, that kind of thing. And so as people started to ask us more and more about, gee, how do I open? How do I do it? How do I make it work? I and the rest of the team started to put together a bunch of resources from a bunch of different places, and that's kind of the collection of all of these. Okay, so it's a passionate topic for me. I'll just tell you that right now, so you can expect this is not going to be me just reading slides to you. I've got some really important thoughts about this, and I think there's a lot that I want to say and get you guys ready to do this thing. Okay, um, for and so. Let me just start by kind of introducing myself a little properly. There I am. Okay, I'm the president of Retail Smart Guys. I've been in retail for a little over 40 years, God help me. Okay, and Retail Smart Guys, for those of you that are not clients on the call, we specialize in cash flow. We specialize in merchandise planning. We specialize in inventory, but we also really are very focused on helping retailers be successful now more than ever. It's become a real thing, right? So we really need to make sure we're doing everything we can to do that, to help you with your cash flow, your inventory management, your merchandising, your marketing, personnel issues, and all that stuff is going to be folded into what we're talking about today. And yes, I have been on TV. Some of you have asked me about that. I was on Curb Your Enthusiasm, so there's a picture of me with Larry David. And I just recently did a commercial for Facebook, and that was me in that commercial. And I will tell you that, right before the pandemic started, I was due for a haircut, didn't get one. So now, I'm about 8 weeks past when a haircut should have happened. So what I can tell you is the hair in that picture looks nothing like what I look like now. I look like something from the Jackson 5 around 1974, around 1975 is probably what I look like now. Okay. Okay. There's a bunch of things you guys have already heard. I'm not going to go through this again, right? Aren't you sick of some of these statements about it's unprecedented times? Retail is different than it's ever going to be ever again. And not everybody's going to make it. It's going to be a thing. You know what? We've heard that already. You don't need to hear that anymore. Okay. So I'm not going to bother with any of that. I want to stay positive. I want to stay strong. I want to help you guys get open again. I want to push this thing. So let's talk about things that you're going to need to do just to be sane. Okay, number one, it's time to get pumped up. It's time to get excited about your store. It's time to think about your store like you did when you were opening it. Remember that level of excitement? That's where we got to be right now. That doesn't mean, by the way, I'm telling you not to stay safe. It doesn't mean that you're not going to apply all the things of social distancing. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be safe with your employees. It doesn't mean you're not going to be vigilant. But you got to get excited right now. You got to get excited about reopening your store, about bringing people back, about getting your employees back, your customers back. So don't let yourself get drawn into the negativity, because, man, there is enough of that around to spare. So you know what? Let's keep it positive. Let's keep it fun. Let's keep it exciting. Okay. The antidote to any of this, any of the things that you worry about, or the sadness of this, or the freaking out of this, is having an action plan. And I hope that's what you get out of today's webinar. Okay. And the other thing I want to say is, please stay connected to us. Okay. We at Retail Smart Guys are collecting up from across the planet what people are doing successfully to get customers back, to get their cash flow back, to get their employees back, to get things where they should be. So stay connected to us, okay? We're going to continue to push out exciting ideas and fun ideas and get all that going. So I want you to stay connected to us, okay? We want to be inspirational to you. We want to give you the good news. We want to give you the ways that you're going to make it through this, okay? And that's a big part of why we put today's webinar together. So stay connected, stay pumped up, and stay with us. By the way, I didn't mention it at the beginning. I should. I would love to do lots of Q&A at the end of this if we have time. If we don't have time, please at least post your questions in the chat here, and I will try to answer them at the end of this. If not, I will send out an email at the end of this with questions and the answers I gave to those, so that you have all that too. Okay. And again, please try to mute yourself. People are still coming into the webinar. So please, as you arrive, mute yourselves and we'll get started, okay? So what's it going to be like when the door actually opens? What's it going to be like out there? Well, I can tell you that each individual state or each individual government or province, for those of you that are joining us internationally, is going to give you the rules. So far what we're seeing is that, you know, there's going to be questions of capacity. Like whatever your fire marshal said the capacity of your store is, they're going to give you a percentage of that you can bring into the store, right? So a capacity of your fire code is going to be relegated typically by the state, okay? Of course, social distancing is going to be the rule of the day. A lot, we're going to talk about that one as we roll here, okay? And there's going to be the uniform of the day. Certainly, we're all talking about masks and gloves. I don't know about you, but it seems like every third person I run into now can sell me a mask. You know, I even have cousins who are selling me masks now, okay? So, you know, you want to make sure you have plenty of masks, plenty of gloves, and some people are also talking about booties, okay? Why are booties important? Because apparently the virus can travel on rubber really well and on the bottom of shoes and stuff like that. So not a bad idea to have booties around too, okay? You're probably going to have some special hours going, like how grocery stores have done, right? Or maybe they've got some special hours for the elderly in the mornings and that kind of stuff. But here's the main point. You're going to be expected to police this thing, okay? Not only because the government wants you to, but because your customers and your staff want you to. So you're going to be expected to police and keep out anyone who has the virus. I want to show you something I got from one of my customers the other day. This is actually what the state of Ohio published. Okay, it's called Responsible Restart Ohio, and they basically laid out what's mandatory and what's recommended. What are they expecting you to do? Okay, I expect that every state will publish something like this. Okay, you're going to need to grab this, and I would actually, you know what, it might be something you post, it might be something you keep in front of you. I think it's an important piece of the puzzle. You've got to read this, you've got to make sure you're in compliance with it, and you've got to make sure that you have demonstrated to both your customers and to your staff and anybody else, vendors and service people, that kind of stuff, that you are being in compliance with all of this stuff. Okay, so I wanted you to see that one. That's just from the state of Ohio. I expect every state in the union is going to publish something like this. Okay, all right. So you may have noticed this, but boy, it's more political than it's ever been. Okay, and so as you approach opening, a lot of people are going to be approaching this opening in different ways, right? Some people are going to be pretty scared, okay? Some people are going to support the opening. Some people are not going to be supportive of the opening. Some people believe the openings are happening too fast. Some believe it's happening too slow. You probably have seen a million people talk about some conspiracy theories out there. I mean, it runs the gamut. This should have been a unifying event in my mind. This should have been a thing that brought the planet together and brought the people together. Instead, it's turned into a very political, very ugly thing. All that to say, I think that what we need to do is take this time to be the sane, safe, friendly people in the midst of all of this. Okay, so what you don't want to be is reactive, and you just want to be safe, friendly, and fun. Okay, so expect all this stuff, but don't get sucked into it. That's, I guess, my message on that one. Okay. So what are you going to have to do when this thing happens? Well, I've kind of broken this into a couple of different sections, okay? I'm going to talk first about floor layout and store appearance, okay? I'm going to talk about marketing. What are you going to have to do to create enough demand to get people to actually wander back into the store again, okay? I'm going to talk a lot about I'm going to talk about how do we sell now? How do we make this work, okay? I'm going to talk about your staff because that's been a big question that has come up a lot right now. Okay, people are talking a lot about, you know, how do I get them back in? How do I work with them? How do I make this whole thing happen? Certainly, I'm going to spend some time talking about merchandising today. Okay, I'm going to talk about now. What do your products look like now as you open? What does fall look like? And what is holiday going to look like? Okay. And certainly we'll spend some time talking about finances, right? How do we preserve our cash? How do we get the cash flow going? That kind of thing, okay? Let me start with store appearance. Okay. I want to talk first about the storefront. Okay. So you guys have probably seen a lot of stuff about this whole radio, this rainbow signage that's there. Okay. Um, that's become sort of an icon of this virus thing, and I think your storefront now, you probably need to incorporate something like that so that you're part of that whole thing. And I am a big fan of the "We Miss You" signs that I'm seeing around. Okay, to get people sort of interested in coming back, and "We miss you, we want you to be here," that kind of stuff. A lot of stores are doing that. I think it's a really, really good idea. Okay, what you want to do though is you really want to generate some excitement about reopening. Okay, you want to generate some excitement about the fact that we're back, we're going to be here. Okay, you're going to have signage about safety for sure, but you want that to be positive. Okay, you'll notice now in a lot of places that the signage about, don't come in if you're sick, don't do this, don't do that, where that kind of stuff, I think that it's a time to keep it positive and not negative. Okay, I really don't think you want to be negative right now. So find ways to express those same things in a positive way, not a negative way. And you want to show that you're in the storefront, especially, that you're clean, that you're going to be open, that you're going to be safe, and that it's friendly to be in that store. Okay. Now, it's always been true that your windows need to change, okay? But even more so now. Here's why. People are going to start driving around, and they're going to start looking, but they're going to be a little bit nervous about coming in maybe. But if they see that things are changing, it's going to increase their curiosity level, and it's going to make them want to come to you more, okay? So you want to incorporate all these things about about that we recognize what's happening, and we're safe, and we're clean, and we're supporting people, and we're going to get through this together, and all of those things that people are talking about, and that we miss you, and that we're safe and we're clean, and things are happening at the store. And changing your storefront will make the people who have driven by or walked by more interested and more curious the next time they come by to get in there. Okay. Okay, when they enter the store, okay, the first 5 to 15 feet of the store is called the decompression zone. I'll tell you, I took that from Kaiser and Bender. I'm going to give them a shout out here at the end of the section, because they were, we did a webinar last week with them that talked a little bit about store layouts. Those guys are geniuses at it. I'm going to give you contact information from them if you'd like, but they're really, really good at what they do. Okay, you want signage at the end of that decompression zone that welcomes them. But let me go back to the decompression zone for a minute. The decompression zone is where they've walked into the store, they've arrived, but they haven't done anything yet. They're just, I'm there. Okay, I'm in the door, right? Decompressing from being outside. Okay. When they're at the decompression zone, we want them to see the vista of the store. We want to see everything that's out there. We want to see what kind of merchandise you have. We want to get them excited about what's in the store, okay? At the end of the decompression zone, we can put some signage there that welcomes them but makes them feel safe, okay? So that's an important thing. Hi, welcome. We're going to put you on the path, which we're going to talk about in a minute, okay? Welcome to our store. Great to have you back, okay? Make them feel warm, make them feel friendly. Find ways to do it that's within the branding and the messaging of your store, okay? We got to guide them to where we want them to go next. Now, of course, many of you know this, that like 90% of the people, when they enter the store, they turn to the right. That's what they do. Okay, 90% of the people, when they enter the store, they turn to the right. So that's going to be where that's important real estate. That's where you want to maximize that. The products you want to sell most severely. That severely is the wrong way to put that, right? But the stuff that's important to you, the stuff that you really want to sell, that you want to get out the door, that you want them to see, that you want to get them excited with. Okay, now, you do want to ensure that there's some social distancing happening, because everybody is going to be worried about that. I think the way you do that is you put them on a path. Many of you have experienced this where the grocery stores are doing that, but let me tell you about my own experience here, right? I go to a grocery store here, and what happens is you just can't walk in and walk over to and say, I want ice cream and I want eggs and bread, and then I want to go. Those days are sort of over, at least for right now, okay? So right now, what they're doing instead is they're putting you on a path. They're making you walk the store up and down and up and down. Many of the aisles now are one-way streets. You can't go up and down anymore. You've got to be on the path. I think for independent retail, it's a great idea, okay? So we put them on the path like the groceries of stores have done, and we basically are going to say, this is the way you're going to travel through our store up and down the aisles, okay? As you do that, you're going to remind them about keeping their distance. Again, it doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be angry. It doesn't have to be like a police state. What it really should be, though, is fun. Okay, so maybe we can make that, let's have some fun signs in there. Like, if you can read the label on my jeans, you're too close. Keep the social distancing happening, right? Objects in your mask are closer than they appear. Stay back. Whatever thing you can do that has some sense of humor to it, that has some lightness to it, that acknowledges the importance of social distancing without it being negative and brutal and police enforcement, I think is the way to go. It's what people expect out of independent retail, and you guys have a chance to be creative in this as opposed to what the grocery stores have done, which is to be negative about it. Okay? If you've got some audio in your stores, you have the ability to broadcast some messaging, I think it's a good idea to have some light messaging going on. Hi guys, welcome to the store. Remember, we want to keep in the social distancing thing, right? This is stuff that, however you feel about the social distancing, and I can tell you from talking to retailers over the last few months all across the world, people have different points of view about this thing. But it's pretty well accepted that social distancing should happen, right? And if that should be happening, if that's something we should be doing, you know what? We should be talking about it, and we've got to make sure that the people that come into our store have a comfort level that we are applying social distancing to what we're doing, okay? So put them on the path. Put down some floor decals that point them in that right direction and make them happen, right? And I can tell you that, my own experience, in the grocery store was, if you go on that path and, I forgot, I wanted to get milk and I forgot to get milk, okay? You're not turning around and going back. You're on the path, you're going to walk the whole store, and you're going to come back, okay? There's some opportunity in this too, by the way, which I'm going to talk a little bit about later. But, now people, if you do this, they actually have to walk the whole store, don't they? They have to get in there and see everything. So you have some merchandising opportunities. We'll talk about that in a moment, okay? Actually, we're going to talk about that now. Your merchandising displays have a much bigger role than they even have had before. Obviously, merchandising has always been an important aspect of what we do. And I think that's still going to be important, okay? So I think you really want to keep your displays interesting and fun. What does that mean? Multi-level. Now, don't make them flat. Have things on multiple levels. It's okay to put things on the floor, but you want to have them have interesting shapes and all kinds of things there. Cross-merchandise things. Put different things into the different areas, okay? Lots of props on there, okay? Things that are going to make them interesting, okay? They've always been referred to, your displays have always been referred to as the silent salesperson. Well, now they're the not so quiet silent salesperson, right? They got to be loud and proud and in charge, and that's how that has to go. So let's make sure that we actually take some time to go through that, which means we're going to walk the floor, okay? Now, Kaiser and Bender refer to it as speed bumps, okay? Places where they have to stop and look at a display and look at some stuff that's really great there. Okay, so let's make sure as you walk your aisles, and if we're going to force them down a path, how do we put these speed bumps in place so that people have to stop and shop and look at some of the more interesting things? Okay, how do we put bundles in there? How do we cross merchandise some things? How do we make that happen? Okay, at the same time, if person A is stopping at a display to look at that stuff, but person B wants to keep going, how do we set up the display so I can get around there and not violate any of the social distancing as much as we possibly can, okay? But from any place where someone stops in the store, look and see, where am I going to be drawn to next? What's the next area I want to go to? What's the next place I want to be at, okay? So you want to keep that stuff going, okay? And you want to keep people moving in there, but you want to make sure you can move them around, but you also want to make sure that you have what's their next destination, where are they going to next, where are they going to next, where are they going to next. And along those same lines, right, are there any things in there that are inhibiting people from buying things? Is stuff tucked away too far? Can they not lift it? Can they not see it? Do they have to reach around really hard to get to it, right? And this is another time that I think it's hugely important to start thinking about the lighting in your store. This is a time you want to spotlight the stuff that's really important. So really think about the lighting. Look at your lighting fixtures. Do they feature things? Do things pop? Do people have a place to go to? Am I leading them where I want them to go? But if I'm going to force them to walk a path in my store now, if I'm going to force them up and down, right? How am I going to do that effectively? Okay. And now I get a chance to actually show off everything, you know? Those of you guys that are in the pet business have had to live with this problem for forever, right? People walk in, they want a bag of dog food, they race to the back of the store where the dog food is. How do I get them to look at treats? How do I get them to look at chews? How do we get them to look at toys, at leashes, at any of the other stuff that we have in the store? Now we all are going to experience some of that, right? How do I make them walk to the store and see everything and get excited about everything? Okay? I think now one of the things that if there's one big takeaway from this, although there's many, I hope, but if there's a big takeaway from this, it's that store signage is hugely important. Because if your employees, if your salespeople have to incorporate some level of social distancing while all this is happening, okay, your signs are going to have to do a lot of the selling for you. Okay, there's going to have to be a lot of signage out there. Okay, so you're going to have to put more signage than ever because we can't be on top of people showing them stuff. Now we have to kind of do that from a distance, and I'll talk about that a little bit in the selling section. Okay, there's two types of signs, right? There's storyteller signs, like imagine how happy you're going to be when you wear this. Imagine the comfort of this. Imagine how beautiful it will be. Imagine the compliments you get. Imagine what your kids will say when you get them these backpacks. I stole that one from Kaiser and Bender's, just so you know. You know, there's a lot of those kinds of things that we can do, okay? There's also product selling features, right? Feature sets, okay? Talk about all the different features of a particular item that you're selling, okay? If we're talking about clothing, let's talk about fit. Let's talk about how they might wear it. Let's talk about where they might wear it, okay? Other stuff that's more technical selling, those guys have from forever used to putting feature sets in there. But we got to talk about the things that are important features of that. So, you know, when you were selling someone something, whatever it was in your store, okay, if they were on the fence about it, not sure if they were going to buy it or not, right? What are the things you would talk about to get them to buy it? That's what belongs on the product selling signs, okay? Kaiser and Bender gave me this one about font calculation. I think it's a good one. You take the oldest, the upper range of who your target customer is, okay? Not the oldest person that ever walked into your store, but the upper range of your customer, and whatever their age is divided by 2, and that's the font size you want to use on those signs, right? So if your older customers are in their, let's just say 60, then you want to have a 30-point font on there, okay? You don't want them squinting and looking for the signs. I think it's a good tip. Okay, and I think you want to, again, sprinkle in these safety signs that show that you got the social distancing happening, but you're not making it overwhelming, and you're still making it fun, and you're still going to put a sense of humor in there. And make sure that your signage has some level of style to it that is unique to your store. Okay? All right, let's talk about your cash wrap for a moment. Okay? So you're going to have to establish, when they line up for the cash wrap, okay, you're going to have to establish a bit of a queue there, right? A place where they're going to line up like the grocery stores have done, so people are at least 6 feet apart. So you want to put some markers down to make that happen. My personal feeling, by the way, I think you want to make it a little bit longer than 6 feet if you can, because you know there's going to be someone that's going to tell you that they're not 6 feet apart, right? You just know someone's going to, do that to you. So I think if you're a little bit further apart than that, you're probably safer along those lines. Okay. Now, if I'm going to do that, I'm going to put markers on the floor or decals on the floor that tell them where they're going to stand. Okay. If I have to build a queue, I certainly want to learn, again, from the grocery store business, but also Office Depot does this, right? They put you online, but while you're on that line, man, you are surrounded by other stuff that you can pick up and grab, little things, right? Fry's Electronics does this too. When you're online, man, every snack known to mankind is put in front of you, right? So I think you want to do that too. I think you want to keep all that stuff happening there, right? Put some add-ons in there, okay? Also, you might start to think about and talk to your point of sale providers about contactless payment options, okay? Apple Pay, Venmo, PayPal, Google Pay, that kind of stuff. Stuff that we can take payments without having to touch or trade cards back and forth or take a lot of cash, okay? Some stores are looking at putting up some plexiglass screening like you've seen at banks, like you've seen it at some gas stations and stuff like that. If you can do that, it probably is going to make people feel safer. I realize that's an expensive play, so it's not for everybody. But if you can do it, great. If not, I think you want to make a big show out of after you've rang somebody up and they've left the store, how you're cleaning that point of sale in between each of these things. Okay? I think you want to make a big deal out of that so everybody sees that you're nicely cleaning up and making sure that you're doing all the right things there. Okay? All right. Some lingering thoughts about this one. You want to demonstrate that you're safe, but that you're also having fun there. Okay? You're going to lead the customer through the store like you never have before. Put them on the path. March them around. It's a way to actually, it's a way to enforce some social distancing, but by the same token, you get to show them product that maybe you didn't get to show them before. Okay? That means, by the way, I also think there's the potential for a higher units per transaction than there were before, because now they have to go through the whole store. They have to see everything, right? It's your opportunity to really showcase what you do. Now, I do think people are going to be speeding through the store because they don't want to be out for long periods of time. They don't want to linger, I don't think, okay? But I do think they're going to buy more. I think it's going to be like how guys shop sometimes, you know? I like that shirt. Let me get it in 8 colors so I never have to think about shopping again, right? I do think there's opportunities to maximize those sales the way you lead them through, okay? So, you know, as you lay out the store, this is going to take some practice and it's going to take some adjustment, and you got to walk that floor on a regular basis. But the more you do it, the smarter you're going to get at it. But make it fun, make it light, and make it special. Okay. And I do want to give a special thanks to my friends at Kaiser and Bender, because a lot of the stuff I got from them, we added in some stuff for sure, but there's their contact information. So write to them, call them. If you're not sure about store layouts, they are experts at it. They've got some great Facebook posts. They've got some great videos. Follow them on Twitter, follow them on Instagram. I think they do a great, great job. Okay. All right. Let me get into some marketing stuff, okay? Those of you who know me and have worked with me or worked with Retail Smart Guys for a while know that I believe that the definition of marketing is 2 words: creating demand, okay? So for sure, we want to create demand in this whole thing, okay? Now, if you thought it was intense before, it's twice as intense or 3 times as intense now. Let me tell you why, okay? There's more e-commerce players out there than ever before. A lot of people that had stores that were not in the e-commerce business suddenly raced to get into the e-commerce business, okay? There's been a ton of Instagram live events, a ton of Facebook live events. People are sending emails like never before. You're going to need to match your volume with what they're doing, okay? That said, you know, sometimes I talk to people about emails and they worry, oh God, you know, people are going to unsubscribe. I'm going to annoy them. Please put that out of your mind. And this is the way we have to approach people now, okay? So absolutely, positively promote like crazy. Make sure you've got that going 24/7, okay? You want to make sure that you've got lots and lots of emails going. They're still the #1 driver of sales. We definitely have seen some spiking happening in Instagram selling. We're seeing some spiking in Facebook book selling, and there's people that are getting into the world of e-commerce that weren't in there before, but emails are going to be the way you're going to reach them, okay? So don't leave that out of this, okay? Now, let's get the messaging right, okay? This is not the time to talk about discounts. I know it's going to be tempting. I know some of you are worried about cash flow. I know some of you have a bunch of inventory that was piled up in anticipation of spring, and now, you know, we've been closed for key months and stuff like that. I understand. It's not the time to talk about discounting. It's the time now is to talk about how safe you are, how fun it is, and the amazing, incredible product that you have that people have been missing, okay? I also believe, by the way, that, you know, people have been sitting around in sweatpants and T-shirts for so long, they're going to look for some more fun stuff to wear. This is the time to talk about that, okay? And do it in a fun, light, exciting way, okay? It's about getting them to feel like their lives are not over, okay? That they've got to get back to some gentle level of back to normal. It's also about supporting local retail. And, you know, right before this whole thing happened, we were talking a lot about something called long tail marketing, which all of that really means is it's about scarcity of product, okay? It's about, you know, I have this thing, it's going to be here for a limited time, and then it's going to go away, right? Scarcity of product is going to become really, really important now, because what do we want to do? We want to get in and get out, get in and get out. I'm going to talk about this on the merchandising section we're going to talk about today, but let me tell you, this is the time to not linger in product, right? So I have this product, it's here, you know, let's get excited, let's get it into it, and let's get on to the next thing, okay? Now, I think this is the message. personally. You've got to take your own spin on it, make sure it fits for you, but it's welcome back, my long lost friend. People I haven't seen in a long time. God, it's going to be great to see you. I'm so glad to see you. I hope everybody that you have is doing well and is safe and that kind of stuff. We're still here. Okay, we're still the store that you love, and we're so glad to see you again. Okay, don't get me wrong, we're adopting all the right precautions to keep you and yours and our staff and us safe so we can defeat this pandemic craziness, okay? But we're still here. We're still safe. It's been crazy. Let's have some fun, okay? The ray of sunshine. I started Retail Smart Guys with Dave and with Audrey and the other folks in 2007. It was 3 months later that the recession hit, okay? I left the vice presidency of a company with a fixed salary and stuff like that to open my own business, and 3 months later the recession started. Oh my God, how was I going to feed my family? I didn't know. Okay. What I discovered during that recession when people were freaking out was that the answer was always to be the ray of sunshine in this. Okay. It doesn't mean you're not safe. It doesn't mean you're not following the protocols. It doesn't mean you're not going to do all the right things. Okay. But it still means you're going to be the ray of sunshine, because God knows people need that now. The cabin fever that's out there now is crazy, and you need to be a place where they can go to have fun and be safe. Keep this in mind too, right? They're not going to get to go when the state opens. Where are they not going? They're not going to get to go to a theater. They're not going to get to go to a big arena. They're not going to concerts, okay? And I think some of them are not going to want to go to the big box retailers, because what makes me believe that the minimum wage guy at the big box retailer is going to do the same good job that an independent retailer will do of cleaning the space, right? So I think it's important. I think it's super important that you demonstrate all that stuff, but that you are the ray of sunshine, that you're friendly, that you're fun, and we're gonna try and bring you back gently to some level of normal. Okay? How do you do it? I think you got to email 2 or 3 times a week. We've been in the webinar now for about a half an hour. Nordstrom's has probably emailed me 10 times. I don't care. I'm not unsubscribing. So get in front of them, okay? Social media, multiple postings a day. You probably have already been doing this, but I want to make sure you're keeping that going strong, because, people are doing that, okay? Lots of video. Both in Facebook and in Instagram, the stories are everything. It is an established thing, and if you follow some of these marketing sites, that people who go on Facebook and go on Instagram spend more time in the stories area than they do on the posts. So you want to be there, okay? You want to have those stories cooking. You want to make it happen, okay? You also, okay, whatever videos you take, put them on YouTube. Some of you probably know this, but in case you don't, okay, the number 1 search engine on the planet is Google, okay? The number 2 search engine on the planet is YouTube, okay? So put your videos there, hashtag them properly. I wasn't always a big believer in hashtag, but Nico from Management One actually gave me some really great information about that, about how many hashtags. 7 is the magic number, in case you didn't know. But hashtagging is how you get more followers, how you get more people on there. And certainly this is the time to get more followers and get more people to like your page and that sort of thing. Okay, I think it's a great time to cross promote with other businesses, promote with other restaurants near you, other businesses that are near you that are compatible. Let's basically, join up together, even though we're 6 feet apart, right, and make all this work, okay? And show that you're safe, show that it's friendly, show that it's fun, okay? Let's make all that happen, all right? Now, we're getting into May and June, and there are holidays in there, and we want to try and make that work too, right? So, hey, you know what? What do we do to salvage Mother's Day? I say salvage Mother's Day because it's the 10th, and not all of you will be open for that. Many of you won't be, but how do we make this happen for Mother's Day, right? How do we celebrate Memorial Day? What's the stuff that we have that's going to help people have a better time Memorial Day, okay? And then there's Father's Day, and there's grads, and there's teacher gifts and stuff like that, okay? Now, I'm a big fan of this website called holidayinsights.com. I'm going to show it to you really quickly for those of you that don't know about it. Okay, I'm just going to pop over there for a quick second. Okay, holidayinsights.com. Here's the little logo for it in the upper left-hand corner. There it is, okay? And what they do is for every single month, they, of course, list the major holidays, right? But they're also going to talk about other lesser-known holidays that people don't know about. As an example, I'm looking at the month of June right now, okay? And if you kind of scroll down here, look, you know what? In June 4th is Hug Your Cat Day. June 5th then should be how do I bandage my face day after my cat scratched me. But there it is, okay? But here's a great one for those of you that are footwear people. I know I have a bunch of footwear people on here. Did you know that the second Friday in June is National Flip-Flop Day? Okay? How do we celebrate that effectively? How do we make that work? Okay? Lots and lots of fun holidays in here. I think it's worth taking a look at. Okay? So keep that in mind as you go through all this. Okay. Oops, there we go. All right. So look at Holiday Insights. Find ways to celebrate things that will help people come to your store and help you be part of the celebration. Okay. Let's talk about selling, because God knows that's going to be important, and it's going to be a whole new skill set now, isn't it? Okay. So again, some of your customers are going to be too scared. Okay. You got to be warm, gentle, you got to welcome, and you got to be attentive to their needs. Some of them are going to be too brave. Hi, I haven't seen you in a while. I want to run up and hug you and stuff like that. Can't let it happen, right? Got to be thrilled to see them, but you got to make sure they keep that distance. Even if you felt they were the cleanest people on earth and you were the cleanest people on earth, someone sees you hug someone else, and then it's game over. I'm out of here. They're not applying the right rules. Okay. So be thrilled to see them, but keep it safe. Okay. Here's another thing I think is hugely important. As much as you can, don't talk about the virus anymore. Okay. We've all been talking about it on social media now for forever. Okay. Try not to talk about the virus. Instead, let's look ahead and let's talk about what's going to be next. Okay. We're out. What are you going to do? Okay. Are you back to work? Well, what's your family going to do now? Okay. How are you going to spend your weekend now? What are you going to do? Exchange some fun ideas. Think in terms of the future, not in terms of the past. I think that's hugely important. Do not let yourself and do not let your staff get sucked into someone talking only about how bad it is. You guys have probably experienced this before, but if you haven't, like you go on sale and that's it. As soon as you go on sale, people go, "Oh, that's it. Are you going out of business? Is it over?" We used to see that a lot during the recession, right? People go on sale. Is it over? Are you done? Is it finished? Don't fall into that, okay? Be positive. Be uplifting. I have more to say about that in a couple slides from now, but I wanted you to at least know about that one, okay? So, you're going to have to learn how to be close from being far away. I coined this thing at the beginning of this pandemic. I should have trademarked the saying, steal from me liberally, but here's what it is, okay? Social distancing is not emotional distancing. Yeah, I'm 6 feet, I'm 8 feet, I'm 13 feet away from you, but it doesn't mean I'm removed from you, okay? I can still be super happy to see you, okay? Instead of shaking your hand or hugging, maybe I give you a little bow. Maybe I put my hand to my heart. I'm so glad to see you. But don't be emotionally distant, okay? Signage now has to do what people can't do, right? So I talked about that a couple of slides ago. Make sure the signage there. Make sure your salespeople know how to point to the signage, how they talk about what's on the signage. It's going to be good cues for them to talk to your customers, okay? We're going to have to greet them even more warmly than we ever have before and make them feel super welcome. We're going to have to ask them even better open-ended questions than we ever asked before. We're going to have to think about that before we even do it, okay? This is definition of manners that I love. I think it's the greatest. And it's this one. The definition of manners is making other people feel more important, okay? So how do I make someone who's walked into that store feel important, feel welcomed, feel the love that we have for them, feel the fact that we're glad that they're there, while keeping it clean, while keeping it safe, while doing all those other things, okay? So we're going to have to keep that closeness there. Now, certainly, we're going to have to evoke some new policies and procedures in terms of the store, right? There's lots and lots of talk out there about what do we do with the fitting rooms? How do we keep them safe? How do we keep the garments safe, okay? I'm going to show you another thing here, a link or two to some other stuff that I think is important. The folks at Management One showed me this one, which is about the Jiffy steamers, okay? And apparently they're well endorsed. I have not done any research on this, so look at their site, the Jiffy steamers. Here's what I can tell you, okay? The virus doesn't like heat. Everybody knows that one, right? I was told that it dies at 175 degrees. I've had other people tell me it dies at 210. So let's just be safe and keep it over at 210 or over. But here's the thing, okay? People need to see that you're steaming this stuff and doing it, right? So these guys have lots and lots of solutions that are here for how do you steam this stuff and keep it safe. And then one of my clients actually sent me this one. It's a link from the Home Depot. It's a closet steamer, right? So you see how you can hang up a couple of garments in there, put some shoes in there, that kind of stuff. It's another way to keep things safe and clean, is let them see after they've tried it on. It goes right in the closet, right? We're steaming it right away. And you want to make a big deal about showing that to people so they see that's what you're doing, okay? All right, back to our presentation, okay? Okay. So, yeah, there are going to be limitations on trying on clothing, right? We got to be careful about that. I just talked about the steamers, but we want to steam everything because steam does kill the virus. That, by the way, not from me. The CDC said that, right? So that's not me that came up with that one. So I'll talk about the CDC in a minute, okay? What are our post-fitting room, our cleaning procedures? Do you ever go into a hotel and you look at the elevator in there and they've got like a log in there that shows so-and-so came and inspected the elevator and they got their initials on the date and everything's fine, it's all okay, that kind of thing, right? You've seen it probably sometimes in public places and restrooms where they talk about the cleaning schedule that's in there. I'd post a schedule in the fitting rooms. How often is this thing being cleaned? And man, it better happen often, right? I want someone to walk in there, walk into the fitting room and see the log. See how often it was cleaned, okay, with any kind of comments that are there. I think that's important. I would do that, okay? For those of you that are in the footwear business, there's a lot of you on the call here, I think sit and fit's going to be tough for a little while. I'm open to suggestions on that one, but obviously it's hard to keep social distance while you're putting a pair of shoes on someone. But you know what? The fundamentals of selling shoes are still important, right? Someone says, I want this shoe in a size 8. Let's make sure we bring out a ton of them, okay? And things that were not what they're there and pile up the shoes for them, okay? What I would tell you about selling right now, whether it's trying on clothing or footwear, that kind of stuff, is that, we're now going to develop a whole new skill set like we never had before, right? And so we're going to have to watch and learn and see how that goes and see what works and doesn't work. We're going to, and we at Retail Smart Guys are going to be sharing up a lot of ideas that we're hearing from lots of great retailers across the planet. So there's going to be lots of new ways to figure out how to sell. How do I convince you to try something on from 6 or 8 feet away? How do I deal with this fitting room thing? How do I get people excited? Does the path thing I talked about earlier work? We're going to have to study it. This is not like, this forever. And it isn't like I can talk to someone who was in the 1918 pandemic who was working in those days, right? Those guys are kind of gone. So you know what? We're going to have to figure it out right now ourselves, you and me, okay? We're going to try these events. This is the best of what I can gather from other people so far, and this is what I think we're going to have to do going forward to get the stores safe and clean, okay? And get customers to feel safe there, okay? Okay. I think alternative methods of selling are going to continue after this, okay? You're still going to want to talk about curbside pickup. You're still going to get your e-commerce stuff going, okay? You're still going to want to do your Instagram and Facebook Live events. Why? Because if it's a U-shaped recovery, that means that you're going to open your doors and it isn't going to be that the 1,000 people are going to walk in there. So you're going to have to do this gently. You're going to have to still do all those things you've been doing to make it all work, okay? In case you haven't heard the term BOPIS, some people call it BOPIS, right? But buy online, pick up in store, right? Can they buy stuff or order stuff online? Hey, bag it up for me, and then curbside or that sort of thing, right? Lots of people have had great success with after-hours appointments because it makes them feel safe. I think you want to keep that going, okay? I think you also want to keep the the delivery service stuff going. If you can do that, I think that's great. I have some customers that have actually beat last year's numbers in the month of April based on their delivery service, okay? And I'm not talking about people that were considered essential. I'm not talking about grocers. I'm talking about fashion retail. So it can be done if you market it well and you push and you're successful and you are excited about it and you are, like I said in the very first slide, pumped up about this, okay? One of my customers, I just want to give a shout out to Tailwaters Fly Fishing. If you're into fishing, they're great. We're the inventors of these, so I got to give them credit for it. Although all of my fishing stores, like Bayou City Anglers, are doing this too. It kind of is a cool idea. So let me tell you what it is, okay? They had a fishing reel that was a higher priced reel. It was like a $1,200 fishing reel, coveted by fishermen across the planet, okay? So what they did when the pandemic started was they said, we're going to sell raffle tickets $100 raffle tickets for this reel, but we're only going to sell 12 of them. Okay, so you have a 1 in 12 chance of getting this reel, right? So that's better than the odds are in most raffles. Wow, cool. Okay, I'm in. And people who both wanted the reel and also wanted to support them as local retail bought tickets. Okay, he sold out of the tickets in 45 minutes. So he was able to sell a higher priced item, okay, for full price, funded by the raffle. I talked to those guys a couple weeks later. How's it going? You know, you did that raffle. That was kind of genius, right? They said, well, we've done 45 of them since then. 45 of them. Holy cow. That's unbelievable. How's that going? Okay. Well, the longest it's taken us to sell out of a raffle has been 2 hours. So people liked it, and they've had great success with it. That said, okay, I am seeing that, by the way, go into other areas. I've heard some menswear stores are selling suits that way. I've heard some women's wear stores are selling jewelry that way. You know, it's happening out there. Okay. That said, you know, I have to tell you that there are some states that may frown upon this in terms of, is it considered gambling? So people are selling stuff. You know, when you buy a raffle ticket, you're actually buying a sticker for $50 or $100, that kind of thing, right? You know, whatever it is that gets you around that issue. And I'm not telling you to do anything illegal. Okay, it may not be legal. You might want to check your rules on that one, and certainly check with your local ordinances and that kind of stuff. What I have heard though is that some people are saying when you buy the raffle ticket, what you're really buying is this little product so that it doesn't turn into a problem. Okay, but I am seeing people do it. Okay. All right, let's talk about staffing. This has gotten a little bit more challenging. I'm getting a lot of phone calls about this these days, so let's talk about that for a minute, okay? But before I do that, I want to give a shout out to my friends at Management One. You guys all know that Retail Smart Guys is an affiliate of Management One. We have and have been since the beginning. We love Management One. They provide the best in merchandise planning and retail inventiveness and ideas. And so Management One put together this thing called the Retail Recovery Playbook. The link for it is right there. Don't worry, you are going to get these slides and you will get the playbook. Actually, I'm going to, you'll get this as part of it. And I suggest you read through it. It's chock full of amazing ideas for you and things you've got to be thinking about. A lot of what I put in this webinar is leveraged based on that. So you want to have both. You want to have what we're doing and you want this, but look at that playbook, man. You're going to want to see it. In fact, just if I can for a quick second here, I'm going to pop over into the playbook. Okay. So, I was already thumbing through it. There you go. Okay. 19 pages of stuff that, is really going to be critical for your store. Okay. Really great information in here. For some reason, my screen's not updating with this. I don't know why, but, there we go. Here we go. So there's the playbook. Look at all the stuff that you get in here. 19 pages of really important stuff. They're also offering some safety toolkits with a lot of conversations about your inventory, how to engage your team, engaging your customer. I highly, highly recommend you get this, okay? Really, really great information to page through here and look at as you start to figure out how you're going to get your store where it ought to be, okay? So don't forget the playbook, okay? We'll send it to you, okay? Okay, that said, okay, how are you going to get your staff back, okay? Tricky. Some of them are afraid they're going to get sick if they come back. Some of them are still afraid in their houses or in their apartments or wherever they live. Some of them are making more on unemployment, and so they don't want to come back, okay? So that's a tricky one, okay? And the scheduling is going to be different, and your need is going to be different because you've got social distancing happening out there. There are going to be fewer people on the sales floor, okay? I think now you have to sort of step back and decide, who do I really need? Who do I really want? Okay. Can I get a little bit more aggressive in the short term on some incentive plans to get them back? Look, I'm not telling you to be held hostage by people that say, well, I'm making more money doing it the way I'm doing it. I think that, you got to figure out who's in and who's out, I guess is where that's at. Okay. Don't let yourself be held hostage. I agree with that. You shouldn't do that. Okay. But by the same token, I think you have to be really cognizant of what do you really need and assess that. Honestly, I do think there's also going to be a bunch of people that want to work now that are on the street that can't work where they were working before. So you've got to really assess what that looks like now. Okay. they're going to need to be retrained. So before you open, I think you've got to put together some training sessions. How are we going to train people at social distance? How do I learn? How do I, participate in some of this virtual selling? Okay. What are our cleaning procedures? And how am I going to demonstrate to the customer that we are safe and clean and still fun? And how do I make sure that they don't go negative on me on the floor? How do I make sure that they understand if someone starts talking negatively about the fact that we're open, or that the virus is still out there, or we've got these problems, or blah, 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 that kind of stuff? How do I make sure that these guys don't get themselves swept up into that and keep it positive and keep it going? I think it's worth bringing them in and training them on this, or train them in a Zoom meeting, for most of it, and then train a little bit when you get on the floor, okay? And maybe some dry runs of some of this stuff. I think it's hugely important, okay? They've got to be protected. So I talked before about masks, gloves, and booties. Got to get the hand sanitizer going, all that stuff is still important. You've got to establish now better opening and closing procedures. I'm in the middle of writing up some opening and closing procedure checklists. Happy to share that with you guys, okay? But now how you open and how you make sure you're clean is really important. How you close and how you clean is really important, okay? Let me tell you something about this. We have, my wife and I have another couple we're friendly with. The guy is a postal carrier, okay? He's out delivering the mail all the time, okay? Here's what he does when he goes home. He goes home, okay? When he gets home, the garage door opens. He goes into the garage. He takes off his uniform, all his clothes, that kind of stuff, throws it right into the washer dryer. There's a robe hanging there for him, okay? Puts on the robe, goes right into the shower, showers right away. When he goes into the shower, his wife comes in with gloves and a mask on, takes the robe, puts that into the washing machine, washes all that stuff, and then they can have dinner. This is a highly recommended thing by the Postal Service. It's something I would recommend you talk to your people about. They've got to make sure that stuff is clean on them. Now look, the CDC, okay, on their website has published how the virus gets around. There is enough craziness about what people think is going to happen with how the virus spreads and how you can get it and stuff like that. You know what? Go to the CDC. Look at what they're doing. What they're doing makes sense. You want to follow their guidelines, okay? Do not follow the media in this. They're going to tell you crazy, crazy things. Their job is to make it worse and make it crazy, okay? Now, when they come there, do you take their temperature? I think you do. Okay, I think, there's lots of these infrared temperature things that are out there. You probably want to get one of those and make sure you're taking temperatures and make a big show of it when people walk in the store. I'm taking your temperature. You got 102 fever? I'm sorry, you can't come in. Okay, it's only fair, and it's going to make everybody else feel safe and feel like they've done the right things. Okay, let's talk about merchandise now, which is certainly near and dear to my heart. I realize we're getting close to an hour, but bear with me. This is important. Okay. Right now, you got to look at what your inventory looks like, okay? Do you have a ton of spring that no one has seen before? Are you over inventoried? What do I need to do to cash out of this stuff and get my cash where it needs to be? Is there old inventory that's tying up some dollars right now? Look, let me say this to you. It's hugely important right now. Turn is king right now. You cannot be sitting on gobs and gobs of inventory. You've got to get out of that stuff. You've got to have a plan that reflects what your actual sales are going to be, and that gets your inventories to turn properly to make a profit, okay? You've got to get involved in some vendor scorecards. We have a sample vendor scorecard. Happy to send it to you. You've got to start to rank your vendors, A, B, and C. You've got to know who you have to have and who is fringe in this whole thing, okay? You've got to make sure you're not doing blanket markdowns. You don't want to open with, the whole store is 50% off. You don't need to do that. Pick your spots. Pick what you want to mark down that's going to drive some demand and get the margin back in the other areas, okay? If there's ever been a time for buy now, wear now, it's right now, okay? So do that wherever you can. How do you create some bundles to get some more sell-through happening, okay? How do I create more demand in the marketing and move through the product faster? How do I make, targeted promotions and schedule those out from when we open all the way through to June and July and all the way through, okay? How do I talk to my vendors? Okay. First off, for spring, do they still have your spring orders even? Many vendors we're hearing just cancel them. Just get out. Okay. Forget it. We're not making it. You're not going to take it anyway. So what's the difference? We're canceling them. Okay. Many vendors have done that. Okay. So do they still have them? And do you still want it? And if you want it, how do you negotiate for that? Okay, we're coaching people through that right now. If you need help with that, reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Okay, I can tell you that basically what I'm mostly telling people is, listen, we got to figure out if I bring that stuff in, or even with the stuff that I have right now, what's the markdown I'm going to take, and the vendor needs to be in for half as much as possible. Look, I'm not trying to beat up or destroy the vendors. It's not the game I play. But you know what? Now's the time to ask for the sun, moon, and stars and make it work. Okay, how many weeks of the season have you lost? That's how you calculate what your markdowns are going to be. I do think things are going to stretch into August. I do think they're going to stretch out the spring season. We'll talk about that in a moment, okay? But, you know, you got to make sure you know how many weeks of the season is going to last and what's next season going to look like. Okay, so really important that you do some of that stuff. Okay, do you want to do some trade outs? Is there some stuff you want to get out of there? Okay, will they take it? Because are they going to be worried about the virus and that sort of thing? Okay, they've got to participate in markdowns and sales contests and promotions. Okay, and again, by using the vendor scorecard and by using the merchandising plan, are we getting cash flow? Are we getting cash margin out of these? Let's talk about cash margin for those of you that are not familiar with the concept, okay? Here's how the math works on this, okay? And again, when you get the vendor scorecard, you'll see some great examples of this. But here we go, okay? You buy goods at $2,000, okay? You spend $2,000 with a vendor, okay? And you hope to sell it for $5,000. Not crazy, okay? We're just doing, you know, a decent markup on this whole thing, okay? So my planned margin is $3,000, right? 5,000 minus the 2,000, okay? But you only get $3,750 in sales. Well, what happens? Maybe there's some markdowns. Maybe you had to give some away. Maybe you took one for you. Maybe it went on sale, you know, and certainly there's goods that are left over. So let's look at your actual cash margin, not gross margin, but cash margin. Your cash margin is the $3,750, your actual sales, minus what you spent, what you wrote checks to vendors for, $2,000. Look, any point of sale system that you have will tell you if I bought something for $10 and sold it for 20, my gross margin is 50%. I get it, okay? But what if I only sold one of those, but I bought 50? From a cash perspective, I'm upside down, right? So we've got to look at the cash margin here. So when you look at your cash margin, I planned it to be 3,000. I only got 1,750. I'm short 1,250. We go back to the vendors and we start talking about what can we do about that? How do we make that work? Okay? I think now the seasons are shifting a little bit. I think spring is going to get extended. So I don't think we're going to see spring markdowns in most cases until August, and that's what we're recommending. That means fall is a little shorter. Okay? Fall is going to be a shorter season. So again, turn is king. How do I control the fall purchases to make that happen? Okay? How do I make sure that I don't get loaded up with too much fall goods and have to take tremendous markdowns to get out of those goods? Turn is everything right now. Okay? You know, and the cash margin is everything right now. So for fall and holiday, first off, where are your vendors at with the merchandise that they have? Okay, are they going to be able to send the goods? Okay, are they getting stuff from overseas? Are they going to be in supply? Are they going to be able to make it? Are they going to be able to deliver? Okay, you want to make sure fall is lean and mean. I think you can still be aggressive for holiday. I still think the holiday is going to happen. I think after an event like this, that people want to get into gift giving for holiday. So I'm a believer in holiday. One man's opinion now. Okay, and we're going to be watching the planning very closely to make sure that happens. But the other thing I think you got to watch out for is this, okay? There's going to be tremendous vendor opportunities now. People that were turning you down before may ship you now because they couldn't ship the people they used to ship, okay? People will disappear as a result of this. There's going to be some of that. But also there's going to be a lot of goods that they couldn't ship, and the vendors need to get cash out of it too. So maybe this is how that happens, okay? Now, this is the most important slide in my whole presentation, so bear with me on this, okay? Most important one, okay? You need a sales plan that is achievable, that can be done. I can tell you by watching how people are selling through the pandemic, okay, there are people that are killing it out there, and there are people that are getting killed out there. And a lot of it has to do with how you aggressively market, how you push, how you get your customers involved. But you know what? You need a nimble, achievable sales plan. It's what we're all about at Retail Smart Guys, and certainly at Management One. It is important that you have a sales plan and an inventory plan that enables you to get to that sales plan without underbuying and missing sales or overbuying and tying up cash unnecessarily. It is out there, and you've got to make sure you've got a great plan. Now, I can tell you that in working with the planners, what we're looking at with our plans right now is extreme fast reaction. We're being as nimble as we can be. We're making changes as much as we can. We're shifting things around a lot to make sure that people get the most cash flow out of everything they're doing, okay? But here's what I can tell you. You've got to start targeting your ending inventory. We got to know where we want to be at the end of that season so we've cashed out and have money in the bank and have money to buy the next season's goods. Critical, okay? This is now the most core function of profitable retailing. It is the difference between good retailing and great retailing. And frankly, it's the difference between making it and not making it right now. You have got to have a merchandise plan that drives the cash, because although all the other things I've talked about are hugely important, there is nothing more important right now than having a sales plan, an inventory plan, and a receiving plan that puts cash in your pocket. I've always felt that way, but I certainly feel more about that now than I ever have. I think it's hugely important. Okay? All right. I went a little nuts on you there, I know. I got a little intense, but I had to do it because I really do believe that. In my heart of hearts, I believe that. Okay? All right. Let's talk a little bit about finance. Okay? We've got some things to share with you here. Of course, cash is king right now. If you haven't done your break even, it's time to do it again and look at really where your expenses are. How much of that can I convert to variable expenses is a hugely important thing. From Management One, we have a thing called the cash flow, a 12-week cash flow planner. We're all using it. I'm going to send it to you as part of this presentation, so you'll have it, okay? Use that. They've also got for those of you that got the PPP loan, let's get that going, okay? And it's time to negotiate on everything, so let's work on that. We're happy to help you with that, happy to help you walk through some of that, okay? Again, Management One has this retail recovery playbook. Grab it, look at it. There's other resources on there. They've got their, that other link is to their, some strategies. They've had some great webinars that are now recorded out there. They're going to continue to do them. I think you want to participate in those. I encourage you to check out what Management One is doing. I check out every one of those webinars, and I get something out of every single one of them. Okay? So it's a time for action. Okay? On the short list, I think you plan a soft opening and then a grand opening. Okay? Not a 3,000 people in the door, but just like a soft opening, you test out all your procedures. Does your mapping work? Do your people know how to sell? That kind of stuff. And then we are officially reopened. Okay? Go through these sections. Make your plans. Do what you have to do on that one. Get the Management One playbook. Okay? Work with us to map out your plan to liquidate inventories. Okay? And we're going to convert all of that you're seeing in here into checklists for you, okay? Some of the questions that are happening in the chat are, is this all going to be available afterwards? Absolutely. You'll get copies of the slides. You get all kinds of stuff that we'll send you that will make this easier for you, okay? But I want to finish this webinar, and I know we're running a little bit late. I appreciate those of you that are sticking around, but I got something I want to tell you, and this is from my heart, okay? So bear with me on this, okay? I'm thinking a lot about independent retail these days. I'm thinking about all of you guys. I'm thinking about what's out there, and I'm thinking about the society at large, okay? This is how I really feel about independent retail and how I feel about you guys on the phone or on this webinar right now, okay? You are for sure the backbone of the economy. I'm not the first to say. It's been said for forever. Independent, small businesses are what make the economy work. It's the most important thing. It's why people are trying to stress on that and make this happen, right? I believe you guys are the backbone of the economy. But even more than that, you're the backbone of our society, okay? As you guys start to open and make yourself that ray of sunshine and make yourself the safe and fun place to be, people are going to start to feel better about their lives again. And you provide that. That means that you're actually, to me, the backbone of humanity in this whole thing, okay? I think you're hugely important, and I think the world is counting on you, okay? This is the time to be pumped up and excited. This is the time to look for opportunity. This is the time to get your store going and to make it happen. And you guys are the creative ones, and you're the ones that can make this happen. So we believe in you. Just don't do it alone, okay? Let us help you, okay? I'm here to make you strong and to make you safe, okay? That said, here's my contact information, okay? Reach out to me. There's our website. That's my cell phone number. You know, we're sort of all on deck right now, that kind of thing. So certainly reach out and talk to us, okay? We're here to help you. I hope you'll let us, help you get your business restarted. I hope you'll let us do all those things. Let me answer some of the questions that have come up in the chat for those of you that can stick around. And again, I appreciate all of you being here. We will send all this stuff to you, so don't worry about that, okay? Okay. Some people are talking about what's going on in their states. Yeah, there's going to be a URL for every state. What I have, I'm happy to share with you. Okay. Some people, one person wrote that their county health department is asking for records of who came to the store. Probably a good idea. Let them sign in. Okay. One person writes, I've got a kid's store and customers are used to touching everything. What do I do? Well, you're going to have to be very diligent on cleaning behind them. Okay, you're going to have to struggle, and I know that's a lot to look at, but we're going to have to put cleaning crews behind everybody and clean and clean and clean and clean. This idea just hit me right now, but maybe you can give some customers some wipes, let them walk around and kind of help you clean and participate in some of that. It's just an idea, may or may not work. Okay. How do we sell perishable merchandise that will expire soon? I think you got to assess it. You got to evaluate it. You may have to take some markdowns, work with your vendors to trade out some goods. I think you're going to have to get aggressive on some of that. Okay. But you're going to have to turn that into cash pretty quickly and turn it into stuff that's going to be there. Some people are talking about pack and hold. Not a fan. I'd rather you guys got it sold through, got the cash out of it right now. Okay. Okay. Let's see. How do we make people trying on clothing? I think I talked about that a lot, but I think you've got to document what your procedures in the store are about trying clothing on and how we're going to make that safe and easy and fun and make that happen. Okay. How am I going to get and you've got to make a big ceremony of if someone's tried something on and they give it back to you that you're cleaning it really well so they feel like anything they try on has been cleaned nicely. Okay. Do I have customer wear masks and sanitize and that kind of stuff? I think you do. Okay, I think you try to issue some masks there. I think they're going to come in wearing masks, but if they don't, put them on them. Okay, I have some stores actually that did some private label masks. Okay, some people feel like, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be thought of as that, and I don't blame you for that. But there's lots and lots of ways to think about that. Okay. Again, I am going to send out this PowerPoint. I am going to send out some other supporting information. I'm going to do all that. Okay. Someone's asking about a source for masks and sanitizers. If you go to the Management One site, they actually have a safety kit that they've put together. It's also listed in the playbook, and you can get some stuff from there. Okay. I think there's going to be lots of masks out there. Sanitizers and wipes are a little tougher. Gloves can be a little bit tougher, but Management One actually has sourced a lot of that for you. They've got some great kits in there at a great price. And by the way, they're donating a portion of the price of the kit to charity. So certainly look at that one. Okay. So someone asks, is there an idea for remedying sidewalk sales? I think you got to look at how that goes. Obviously, if you're going to do it, they're going to have to be spread out. If not, let's find a way to do it inside the store somehow. Okay. Maybe paint the sidewalk on the inside of the store and keep your social distancing happening. Okay. Some questions about the raffle. It's not legal in all states. Again, you got to check with your own local state on that, see what that looks like. Some people are getting by it by saying the raffle ticket is actually the purchase of this item, and also includes you into the raffle. So look at that, talk about that. Okay. Okay, I covered that one. Okay. There's some questions about, orthotics and fittings and special stuff like that. It's just going to be tougher. I'm not sure. I don't know the answer on that one quite yet. I'll research that a little bit more and see what I can come up with. Okay. Because it's not going to be an easy one, right? You fit for orthotics or you fit for special circumstances, that kind of stuff, pre-walkers and walkers and that kind of stuff. You know what? I'm going to be tracking closely what some of the other footwear associations are publishing along those lines. Okay. Let me see if there's anything else that's popped in since then. Okay. When do I bring employees back? It's a very individuated kind of thing. because some people are ready, some people are not ready, some people want to come back and that kind of thing. I don't think I have a global answer for you. I think you've got to assess when your opening is going to happen. You've got to have a really great sales forecast to make that happen, which we certainly would participate in with you on. And then we got to make sure that people are doing the right things. Okay, bringing them back at the right time. Make sure they're going to be part of the solution, not part of the problem. Okay. Okay. Someone wrote, I'm not sure how to do a financial plan with so much uncertainty out there. Well, you know what? The way you do that is a lot of what ifs. What if it's this? What if it's that? We're experts in that. Please reach out to us and we can help you with some of that. Okay. Is there talk about extending the amount of time you can use the PPP? I have heard some of that where if people don't open, maybe it's going to go past June 30th. That could happen. I mean, I've got a bunch of you guys that are here from Hawaii. I don't, based on what's happening in Hawaii, you guys may not open for a while. And apparently even after that, there's some talk of like, gee, that's going to get extended. How's it going to get extended if someone lands and then has to be in quarantine for 2 weeks, right? So I have a feeling there's going to be more, okay? So we'll see what that looks like, okay? Where can you find the info on the PPP? You mentioned a little bit back. Jennifer, I'll send that out. Don't worry, okay? Okay, how do we returns? I didn't talk about returns, but I want to, okay? A lot of stores are saying we're not taking returns, okay? You might have to do something like that because the returns are dangerous. Otherwise, steam the hell out of it, clean the hell out of it. It's a dangerous thing. Okay. Okay. So let's watch out for that. Okay. Appreciate all the thank yous people are sending me. Okay. Listen, I believe in this stuff, which is why I want you to do this. Okay. All right. I think that's all the time I have. We went a little over, but I appreciate most of you sticking around. So thank you for all for your participation in this. Thank you for all your help, and keep safe, keep strong. Please, please, please reach out to us. We are here to help you, and we want to help you, okay? So stay safe, stay healthy. We're going to get through this, and you guys are the guys that are going to make it happen. Don't do it alone. We're here to do it with you. Thanks, everybody. Have a really great day.